Time to check out more of your latest requests and recommendations for new underground metal music. Alright, we've got Eulogist with Orchestrated Suffering. Alright, we had a heavy death metal month last month. So I've been seeing some of the picks here look a little bit more black metal, we'll see. This is a New York project. The tri-state area. Black and death metal is a good solid black metal cover. Nice riff transition there. Overall, from what I'm hearing here, it sounds pretty good. I feel like the guitar could sound a little better. I think you could toy with that distortion sound a little bit. Like, it being black metal, I understand the desire to make it on the more raw side, but I think it could be, you could tweak it slightly. Overall, the mix is pretty good. I can actually hear everything, it's not a muddled mess. And yeah, as far as your pretty standard black metal, black and death metal goes, I think you're hitting that target. I will say, again for feedback, constructive feedback, songwriting feels a little bit kind of paint by numbers to me. I like these transitions. Like, it seems like, and again, of course, I'm just scrubbing through, so that's not always the best representation of the whole thing. But yeah, overall, I think there's a lot of good here. There's a really solid foundation. I'm just not hearing those elements in the songs, at least the parts that I'm showcasing here, that are like really gripping me. So if you wanted something to work on. See, I like this part, but again, and that's like a riff I've heard, I feel like, a gazillion times before. And that's the tough thing about black metal. I feel like that's why most of the black metal I enjoy right now is like the weirder, like avant-garde experimental stuff and genre-fusing stuff like Imperial Triumphant. Because I just wonder if, like, standard black metal, so to speak, has kind of run out of things to say. But I've been proven wrong before in that sentiment. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Eulogist with Orchestrated Suffering. Check them out. Alright, next up we have Boréalys with Le Heritage out of Quebec. Already getting more of kind of a post-black kind of vibe on here. Fitting to the cover. I like the sepia tone, switching it up from the black and white usual. Longer songs here, which is also fitting to the kind of atmospheric black, post-black, much more drifty kind of songwriting. Get my back scratching. They're pretty good. Again, I've said before, I'm not a huge, just pure atmospheric black fan. There's certain bands that I really enjoy in this genre, but also a lot that I just find to be kind of dull as far as like zeroing in on. It's stuff I enjoy, like this is great background music for me if I'm like working on something, editing, what have you. But as for like sitting and actually like listening to it, I tend to get kind of bored of this stuff. But that's just my personal preference. I know plenty of people really get sucked into this stuff, which is cool. So that's my sort of subjective stance. Objectively, I think the mix again sounds really good. I really like where they place these guitars, where they're kind of like in the background and you've got that layered effect, but they're not like buried either. Same with the vocals, they're kind of like a little bit subdued, put a lot of reverb on it, but they don't overdo it. And the vibes, too, like a good mix of kind of like that balance of sort of light and dark, where it's like grim and kind of melancholic, but then there are also like little glimmers of light here and there. So yeah, as far as like this sound goes, even if it's not my favorite, like I think you're doing it very, very well, and yeah, I'd give you props for that. Like I think this sounds just as good as any of the like big label releases in the genre I've heard this year. Like I could put this up there with like Waldgeflüster and Wolves in the Throne Room and stuff like that. Yeah, cool. There's Boréalys with The Heritage. Then we have Riversleem with a second release by Riversleem. What a creative title. I'm pretty sure I've covered these guys before. Again, it's hard for me to keep track of it. But they are a Saskatoon, Saskatchewan band. Like the cover. And yeah, going for more of kind of like hardcore, little thrash. They call it SK Hardcore. I wonder, is that Saskatchewan Hardcore? Is that what that's short for? Very Converge. This has very strong Converge vibes. Right down to the vocals, too. Those kind of dying bird vocals, as we put it. Which is right up my alley. Converge, to this day, one of my all-time favorite bands, I would say. Oh, that's so Converge right there. Absolutely. Like, I can hear the kind of Kurt Ballou sounding guitars and the very Jacob Bannon vocals. Yeah, this one too, like, there's even a specific song I'm thinking of right now. Great drumming. I also say a little bit of stuff like Zao. And they even kind of nailed like that slightly gritty sort of 2000s production. Like early 2000s that a lot of my favorite albums have. So I really like that. Like this is one of those albums that's just made for me. It's a pretty short 4-song EP here, but I'm loving every second that I'm hearing of it. Ooh, that little bass right there too, that boom. Great use of all the instruments. I was reflecting the other day on how I think bands would benefit so much more from recognizing that not every instrument needs to be playing all the time. Like, some of my favorite moments in songs are when the guitar cuts out, or sometimes the drums and bass drop out. Sometimes it's just an a cappella moment. Like, I love that shit. And it makes for memorable moments. Yeah, this sounds fantastic. Like, from the production to the performances, the songwriting. Is it the most original thing? Not really, so that's another area where you could probably figure out how do I carve out my niche to stand out. Ooh, this is the, like, classic, like, little quiet break, too. God, this takes me all the way back to high school. Absolutely. Great stuff. Yeah, I can't wait to hear more from Riversleem. But yeah, check out a second release by Riversleem, and as always, this segment that's what this is about. Like, getting these lesser-known bands out to your ears, giving you just a taste to get you to want to check it out on your own, and then hopefully you go out and buy their albums. This one is Name Your Own Price. Alright, we have Deathspeaker with Deathspeaker out of Pennsylvania. Big intro here. Ooh, are we going deathcore? Sounds like we're going deathcore. Pretty deathcore looking cover too. The font is a little thrashy, but ooh, that was a good one. I love those little phlegmy vocal moments. Oh yeah. Yeah, Pennsylvania deathcore, there it is. At its finest, they say. Sounds pretty good. The mix, at least it could just be the stream, the mix feels a little bit flat And maybe I just need to turn it up. But something about it just feels a little bit kind of one-dimensional to me. When I feel like there's like a big atmosphere you can really showcase. There's a couple features on here. I'm not familiar with these names off the top of my head. I like deathcore a lot, but I'm not like the biggest deathcore fanatic, so I don't know a lot of people by name except for like the really big ones. Tom Barber, the CJs, Will Ramos, that kind of stuff. That sounds pretty cool. Another one where I'll say, just based on what I'm listening to, songwriting could be a little bit more original. This one's kind of cool. It's got a little bit more of a melodic flair to it. It's kind of fun, the acoustic guitar with the screaming. I do like that, yeah. Yeah, find little ways to... We've even got a little, like, xylophone in here. And again, I don't know who Brittany Gee is, but I am a sucker for alternating female clean singing with male harsh vocals. Yeah, I like this one. This one's a little bit more original. We've got a Linkin Park cover on here, too. Well, speaking of Tom Barber, we got Taylor Barber on here. Oh, this is kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, deathcore Linkin Park. I wasn't sure how that was going to sound, but somehow it worked. It actually makes sense, because there's actually a lot of hip-hop influence on deathcore, too. And nu metal, so... Yeah, that's like peanut butter and jelly right there, for sure. Yeah, overall this is cool. I like the synth element to it. Like, I really think that is something to continue to lean into. Most of my favorite deathcore acts use a lot of synth right now. Like, I mean, Darko I think is more like programming than synth. And then, goddamn, Brand of Sacrifice. That kind of stuff. But yeah, that is Deathspeaker with Deathspeaker. Alright, we've got Gynosko with Gynosko out of Sacramento, California. I always love finding black metal bands that are from, like, sunny, bright, like, non-traditional areas. Like, I think black metal, you definitely don't think California, but I suppose certain areas, like where they took this picture, it's got some black metal aesthetic to it. One-man black metal project, long songs again, which, again, not my favorite thing, but for people who like stuff like Burzum, I'm sure this is going to be right up their alley. And kind of mixing the, like... I think Burzum's a good comparison, because even though this feels a lot more sort of dynamic than that, and a little less just like misery, it's still that idea of kind of taking the more traditional, uglier side of black metal, but then making these longer songs with it for a vibe. And then it's got kind of the grittier production, but then it also has like kind of Bergtat sounding guitars. A more kind of naturistic sound is what I always think of. Oh, I like there's a little like flute on there. So that's cool. Oh, tin whistle. That's what that is. I am always a sucker for any sort of traditional instruments implementation in black metal. Because frankly, folk metal rules, and all the people who avoid it and didn't watch the video I made on it, y'all are just missing out. And I'm gonna go on another rant too. Like, I saw so many people be like, folk metal's too fun. I want stuff that's like angry or heavier. And that's fine, but the reality is, like, then you just don't understand folk metal. Because, yes, there is folk metal that's campy and goofy and fun, but then there's also stuff like Moon Sorrow, Nocturnal Mortem, Managarm, that, like, isn't that at all. Like, it's still, like, very black metal, it's still very grim, sometimes more progressive, but anyways, that's an aside. I like what I'm hearing here, like, overall. Again, it's hard for me to sit and listen to this style for this length of time. Again, I made a whole video about I like long songs and long albums when the dynamics are there to carry it. And it actually, you know, from just scrubbing through, I am hearing some, like, changes. But this song in particular, like, I keep scrubbing through and I'm hearing a lot of the same. And so that's where you start to lose me, when it's like, this is kind of the same thing for 10 plus minutes. But that said, like, every part that I'm stopping on here sounds really good. I actually like the production choices, and yeah, I think atmospheric black metal fans are really going to enjoy it. Keep leaning into that tin whistle, too, like that. That is Gynosko with Gynosko. Alright, we have lImarininen with Gold. Oh, speaking of fun and campy, this is just a little EP here. This is out of the Netherlands. Man, speak of folk, and folk you shall have, apparently. I did not plan out this order, I swear to you. Heroic tales told through music. So again, this is one form of folk music I happen to love. If you don't, that's fine. But there are plenty of other styles of folk than just this. Yeah, this is very much in that Carpiclani, Illuviate kind of style. Which I love. I love accordions, I love fiddles, violin, all that. Like, this is my shit right here. Come on, have some fun. It doesn't always have to be grim and miserable. And performance-wise, this sounds great. Songwriting-wise, this sounds great. Mix-wise, this sounds almost perfect. I think there's something in the guitar tone that I think could be slightly improved. I can't put my finger on it. But overall, I like what I'm hearing with that. All's a sucker for gang vocals too. Like, this is just pure, like, get together with the boys and the ladies, throw on some, like, D&D gear, grab the flagons of ale, and sing along. Like, that's what this is all about. They do make for fun shows too. Like, I saw Encephirum live, and it was great. I'd like to see more. Yeah, fun stuff. lImarininen, keep in touch, because this is my shit right here. you're doing the thing. Epic folk metal indeed. lImarininen with Gold. Alright, last month was so packed that this one kind of skidded by, and it's a shame because I am a huge fan of Pest. They're kind of one of my favorite underground projects right now. They do kind of like deathcore, technical death metal, and this is their latest split with Argento, Catgirl and the House of Evil, and other stories. And I love the combination of kind of a sense of humor and campiness, but with like really aggressive, serious sounding music in most cases. And so fast too. This is out of Montreal, Quebec. And just always fast. Pest also had one of my favorites. I can't remember if it was albums overall or just death metal albums of, I want to say 2020, 2021, somewhere in there. But just always so good. And I love the there's always like a mathcore element in there too. Like, there's a lot of styles mixed in here. Yeah, that's a very panic chord heavy, kind of Dillinger-esque section. she also brings some like really great vocal variety. Like this is all her. Like it's the highs, it's the lows. Those vocal dynamics are so important to this genre, in my opinion. Great atmosphere, always great production. And yeah, April's awesome. Just very talented. All around. Kind of proggy too. And then she'll throw in some more melodic stuff. She's done some covers of like non-metal music. And basically all of it's good. So highly recommend checking out really the full Bandcamp. Yeah, continuing just to be awesome. And they did do a fun music video for, I forget which song it was. It might be the last one, because they did like a song together, I believe. But yeah, that's Pest, and then Argento. Love the name, by the way, because I'm a huge Dario Argento fan. I'm assuming that's where the name comes from. Oh, this is good too. I'm less familiar with Argento, so... Yeah, kind of black and thrashy, sort of. Mixing a bunch of stuff in there. This is a good split, too, because I like a good split where the bands really complement one another while still being different. And that's April in the middle. Yeah, man, this is rad. 6 killer songs for only $3 Canadian, which is less than that US dollar. Can't go wrong. Please, please, please throw your support at this project if it interests you even a little, because I can't say enough good things about it. But yeah, it looks like this one's an actual, like, joint track, because it features Pest. Yeah, just banger stuff. Check them out. Pest, Argento, Catgirl, In the House of Evil. Alright, we've got Mycopath with Detrital Rebirth out of Gainesville, Florida. So we're going doomy. Right from the top. Oh, we're going for very lo-fi production here, too. Look at that band logo. That's wild. Oh, but you can actually read it, though, because it's just at the bottom. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of like mixing that illegible style with it's like a tree, and then you can actually read the bottom. I like that. Or is it a mushroom? I could see either. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this production. Like, I like weird production styles, but this one's a little... It's like you're kind of, at some point you're burying the instrumentation, and to me that's where it sort of crosses the line. I want to hear what you're playing. And it's making the cymbals sound really compressed too. And again, that might just be the upload and how it's streaming here, but... Like, musically it sounds like it might be... Oh, we got some kind of non-Dini sections here too. Musically, it sounds like something I could enjoy, but it's like so muddied by this mix. And then that vocal is so much louder than everything else. Stylistically, this is interesting, though. Like, I hear a little bit of, like, kind of strapping young lad weirdness in there or something. It's almost like a hip-hop vocal line. It's interesting.
I do not believe that...
It might be one of those things. I have found there's certain albums where if I just like sit and listen to it, my ears start to adjust, and then the layers start to kind of like reveal themselves to me. So it could be that. But I feel like that's my biggest point of ooh, it's even like a like a breakbeat section in here. Is this the Prodigy? I wonder if this is Winter Quilts. Who's the feature? So yeah, I love the weird stylistic diversity here. Yeah, and then just a kind of weird instrumental. Kind of atmospheric black sound on this one. There's a lot I like, but I just feel, personally, I feel like the mix is holding you back. Like, I think you're doing so much with the dynamics and variety that you don't need this weird mix. So I'd be curious to kind of hear this same music in a different production approach. But yeah, sounds interesting. I want to hear more. That is Mycopath with Detrital Rebirth. Alright, we have Obsidian Tide with the Grand Crescendo out of Israel. I don't get too much music out of Israel. Cool cover, very progressive metal looking cover. Cool guitar line there, kind of Mastodon. Show a little break here, kind of jazzy. Big build at the end. Some Dream Theater vibes. We got a lot of merch. Very dramatic. Ooh. Nice little guitar solo there. I like when they mix the kind of pure progressive metal with the progressive death metal too. Also makes me think of things like Alkaloid, the latest Horrendous album too, which is fantastic. A little sludgy too. Death metal, progressive death metal. Yeah, this seems really cool. Solid performances here. It feels very like introspective too.
By God's command.
Lots of good transitions. Cool bass there too. Yeah, definitely like mood music, and this is what I'm talking about too. Like here we are with again longer songs, but there's like so much happening in them that it's like barely even one song. It's like one song that has like 4 movements in it.
Obscured and intertwined.
Little Opeth there too. I was trying to put my finger on it. I'm like, what does that remind me of? That's a lot of Opeth there. The alternations with these really quiet, almost folky sections. And that's very Opeth to do those little syncopated guitars and drums. Yeah, very Opeth there. So mixed together a lot of stuff I really like. Ooh! Got a little like flute solo here. Courtesy of Danielle Sassi, it looks like. It's also contrabass. Yeah, really cool. Obsidian Tide, the Grand Crescendo for you prog fans out there. Alright, we have Midir with Bludgeoning Kings out of Ontario. Lots of Canada today. They're going raw again. Doom, sludge, death, hardcore. Cool cover. The cross is like jammed in his mouth. That's pretty wicked. Yeah, that's a little touch of like kind of avant-garde style vocals in there. Definitely that kind of acquired taste kind of music. Like, because these vocals aren't always like fully on key, but I have found with certain bands it does feel like a choice. And it kind of works for sort of the more experimental avant-garde bands. It makes me think of things like Psy. That's sometimes the case. So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it gets on my nerves, so I prefer kind of a stronger vocal performance. It's interesting going from that to this, because this is just pure kind of raw death metal. I think that scream could use a little work. I don't like that guitar distortion choice either. Like, I'm fine with the raw production for something like this, but I feel like that distortion, it changes every song too. So it does kind of feel like they're kind of like figuring out their sound overall, which is fine. Like, it's good to explore early on, find out what fits. This one's more of a pure doom sounding track. And then we got Go to Hell, which is shorter. Yeah, every one of these tracks like has a different guitar tone to it. Yeah, this is just like a pure black metal sounding song, but with some death metal vocals. Yeah, all over the place. I mean, see, if you're in the exploration phase, go ahead and explore. Like, I'm not going to fault you for that at all. If you want me to pick, like, which one of these I like the sound of the most, I do like this bass here, this, like, distorted bass tone. But I'm not a big doom guy. I think overall, like, distortion-wise with the guitar, I like this one better, but keep playing with it. I'd say just keep playing with it. That is Midir with Bludgeoning Kings. Then we have Zeitgeist by Nascent Echoes out of Germany. Love this cover. Very pretty. I actually have a little duder that I thought was on my desk. I'm not sure where he is. That kind of reminds me of that. Another kind of proggy maybe sounding one here. By the way, at the time of recording, actually but by the time this is released, this may still not be fully out yet, but it'll be out October 27th. Constructive Feedback, these clean vocals have this kind of like nasally quality to them. I think that could be improved on. It's kind of like whiny. It's like a little whininess to them. Really liking the guitar work. Groove metal, metalcore, modern metal, thrash metal. It's like all the tags here. Which I like. I like bands that really kind of mix together a lot of stuff. Ooh, this is very Tool. This is like pure Tool, or like maybe a little A Perfect Circle. Nascent Echoes, you have to tell me, was this song inspired by Tool? Because it's just like, it feels like an impossibility that it couldn't be. Taking a more melodic twist here, though. That vocal delivery, that whole like vocal cadence there was pure Maynard. And then you're adding some more aggressive screaming to it, some more kind of like melodic metalcore. There's a little bass solo here. I think I'm starting to pick up on what you're going for here. No, but then this one's a little bit more like... This one doesn't feel like Tool at all. This one's more sort of Dream Theater-y. They're just toying with different styles of progressive metal. Because there's so much in prog. Like, prog is like almost like an... like an added descriptor as opposed to its own genre. Because you can have progressive metalcore, progressive doom, progressive metal, progressive death metal, progressive black metal, and all of those things sound very different. It's more of like an approach to the songwriting, I would say, than anything else. Yeah, and then this is like more just rock and roll. Sounds cool though. I think there's some work to be done on the production side too. Like, I feel like this could be a much fuller sound that would really complement it. Like, get that really good wall of sound. Like, when I have the headphones on for music like this, I feel like it should feel like it's surrounding me. And it feels a little flat when compared to the music itself. But other than that, really cool. Another project I'd like to hear more from. That is Nascent Echoes with Zeitgeist. Alright, then we have Kalisto Rec with Blindness. Everything has a life has an end. That was a mouthful. A little loud too. Turn that down. Off to a good start. So Kalisto Recordings, I think it is, out of Venice, Italy. And the band is Blindness. In a weird way, this feels like a death metal take on Genghis Tron's earlier stuff. I don't know if that makes any sense, even though it's mostly like entombed core with the vocals and the guitar distortion, anyways. That HM2, super aggro. Love the bruh, the riffage on here. It's pretty sick. Kind of grindy too. Oh, Wormrot's in the tags. That's a good one too. Yeah, lots of different tags here. At the Gates also in the tags. Yeah, all that stuff fits. That's pretty cool. Very 2000s feeling too. This is totally something I would have just gobbled up. Ooh. That ooh in the transition. Holy shit. This is fucking sick. There's so much music, y'all. So much, and there's just not enough time or room to cover it all as much in depth as I'd like to. Ooh. That riffing too. Holy shit. Yeah, this is another one I'm gonna have to keep in my back pocket and maybe find a place to feature it someday. But we're reaching the end of the year, so I'm gonna be really busy with some pretty significant projects for end of November, December. November is pretty much done, save for a thing here and there. Jesus, this shit's a rager though. I love all these little pace changes. You're fusing together like all my favorite riffing styles from death metal, grindcore, hardcore. God damn. Yeah, that's fucking sick. Y'all need to check this one out. So again, that's Blindness with Everything Has a Life Has an End, and I am definitely gonna try to spend a lot more time with that, but very busy, so no promises. Then we have Discorporate with That Which Is Not, out of Dallas, Texas. A little groovy, like the Echelon shirt. That's cool. I feel like I just saw this symbol on like some other album, or a similar one. That was interesting. We kind of transitioned from that bluesy riff into more of a black metal space than I expected. Yeah, chaos metal. Dark metal, thrash metal, heavy metal, yeah, lots of different stuff here. It reminds me of something, but I can't quite put my finger on what. Yeah, definitely another interesting fusion of different stuff going on here. Yeah, this one's more like melodic kind of, a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of toke in that riff. Yeah, that's actually a very toke riff. I'm curious now if these guys are fans. Dude, that's such a hoist riff right there. So much so. Discorporate, you gotta tell me, are you fans of toke? Because this song is just dripping with his influence. If not, that's a wild connection, and you should check him out. Yeah, honestly, that's the closest comparison now that it came out. But you've got your own spin on it. It doesn't feel like a one-to-one comparison. I just noticed these, like, horns in the background here, too, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty rad. Yeah, very riff-heavy black metal, which is nice. And I, personally, am a huge fan of toke, so right up my alley. Like these little moments of atmospheric elements, too. I will say, too, toke, by far, one of the best live shows I've ever been to. May never see him again, because he's kind of banned from here, but yeah. It is what it is, I suppose, and opinions welcome on that, but man, I cannot deny how good that show was. But yeah, that is Discorporate with That Which Is Not. Then we have Tabahi, I think, with Thrash for Justice out of Pakistan. That might be a new one. We've had a few bands from that general region, but not, I don't think we've ever had a band straight out of Pakistan, so that's pretty cool. Cool cover. I like this color scheme with the purple. Like the raw vocals too. This is very like, reminds me a lot of like 80s German thrash and speed metal. Ugh, always down for the ugh. Like these pictures here too. It's funny, you got them like thrashing it up, and then you've got them wearing more kind of traditional garb here. Nice little kind of party by night, live the normal life by day. Solid riffing. Production's actually pretty decent too. Vocals might be... I like the vocals. It's not the quality of the vocals. I think the production around the vocals could be a little bit better. It's almost like it's like just slightly too high in the mix. So just some very minor tweaking around that I think would make this sound even better. But overall, I'm digging what I'm hearing so far. Always a sucker for that. The little stops. Big groove here. Got some harmonics in there. The vocals actually, you know what? They remind me of Psy. Any Psy fans in the audience? I did a tier list of them. You better check that out too. One of my favorite weirder bands out there. Yeah, those vocals are very, very much like Psy. Yeah, that's cool. That is Tabahi with Thrash for Justice. Then we have Modern Technology with Conditions of Worth. And for some reason I have this sinking feeling that I've already done this one, but maybe I'll even check. Already getting some like helmet, Ken mode kind of vibes here. This Modern Technology. Double check that I didn't already do this. Name's not coming up in the notes, so I don't know why I have this sinking feeling. I love that bass line too. Like this is that very kind of, again, it's very 90s. Oh wait, I spelled this wrong. Maybe that's from, maybe I did. No, it's not coming up. Regardless, yeah, I like this kind of like 90s alternative, 90s post-hardcore kind of vibes on here. And the noise elements. A little doomier on this one. Yeah, very doomy on this one. That first track's a little bit more my speed. What else you got on here? I like that more kind of like nihilistic, despairing kind of sounds. It's a nice little guitar hook there too. Yeah, these sound good, but that first track really hit me. Like, it took me back to remembering being like 11 years old and hearing like something from Meantime on the radio for the first time, shit like that. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. Yeah, overall I like it though. Like, production's great too. Like, you're really building just a full atmosphere. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here's more of that kind of helmet energy. Seems like it would be great live, but honestly the recording sounds very live. It makes me wonder too if you recorded in more of a live format as opposed to tracking. You have to let me know. It's got that vibe, but even if you didn't do that, you did a good job of capturing that same kind of live performance feel. But yeah, that is modern technology with conditions of worth. Then we have Tartergrade Inferno with Burn the Circus, which I've been kind of excited to listen to because I love this weird shit. And this definitely seemed like it was going to fall in that category. Definitely was making me wonder if they were going to sound like, and they do. They already do. I can't think of the band's name right now. I always blank when I'm recording. But that other band that has very, like, kind of circus-themed songs. Someone in the comments will get it for me. Yeah, dark cabaret metal. I love that kind of circus metal aesthetic. There's just something about it that's just so exciting and weird. Yeah, good atmosphere, more great production. Ooh, we got some chuggy riffs on here too. Ooh, nice synth line. Full package here. Lots of good stuff happening. I wish I could think of the dang name. It's bothering me now. Ooh. I can't even begin to hit that note. Yeah, this is great. Y'all need to check this out. This vocal performance here reminds me a little bit of Ginger, but there's more to it than that, I would say. I love the organs. Organs always make me think of Mr. Bungle and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm loving this. More. What a great batch, y'all. Every month it just gets better and better. But for the sake of time, we gotta move on. Tardigrade Inferno with Burn the Circus. Then we have Catafalque, not to be confused with Thy Catafalque, with Dybbuk of UK. Harsh Noise Drone Doom. I like this very simple cover, and it's just the Dybbuk box with this pure black background. There's something so ominous about it. Love that. In a way, I feel like there's something kind of appropriate about this, given some of the stuff that's going on unfortunately, while I'm recording this, but that's just a thought that comes to mind. I feel like there's some sort of metaphor there. Unfortunately, it's one of those messages where I could see it kind of being taken in bad directions depending on whose hands it goes into, but that's the nature of music. You interpret it how you choose to. But even with these titles, I'm curious to actually read this description here. Dybbuk is an extreme and abrasive album that marries the exhaustive and overwhelming qualities of old-school doom metal with the harsh textures and frequency found in noise industrial. That's more about the music itself, though. I'm kind of curious to hear more about the conceptual elements. Which I like, though. Like, there's something inherently controversial feel. Again, I could be projecting all this, but there's just something controversial seeming about the implications of some of the stuff that's going on right now, the title and where this object comes from, and these song titles. It's very kind of interesting, and it could be a completely different direction. Maybe that's just top of mind for me, but it makes me curious. Not in a good or bad way. Just I'm curious. And honestly, for drone doom, I've been talking a lot about the concept. The music itself sounds pretty good, even though I'm not a huge fan of the genre. Very just cavernous, perfect production. Feels a little bit more engaging than most drone I come across, too. Like, every now and then there's a drone band that really gets me. And just, I like the overall quality I'm hearing here. And some of the kind of progression and build I'm hearing. The drums sound great. It's very organic feeling. But yeah, that is Catafalque with Dybbuk. Then we have Astromelia with Abyssal. Always a fan of these purpley covers. There's just something about that. And I wonder if it's a regular viewer, because they did the thing I always love where you matched your color scheme to the album art on the page. Very pleasant. This is out of Santiago, Chile. More like instrumental, heavy psych, krautrock, space rock. This little break from the pure aggression. Good vibing music. The very, very kind of spacey. Fits the cover too, this weird sort of like, are we in space, are we in the ocean, are we in some other dimension? I mean, abyssal implies we're in some sort of abyss, so like deep ocean. Oh, is this, okay, so this is probably like a, whatchamacallit, those old-timey diving helmets. I shouldn't say old-timey, because I suppose we still use some of that stuff. Good groove, more great production, like... Sounds very thoughtful and kind of introspective. More great, like, working music. I like this riff. And with the beat, too, very, like, driving. I feel like there used to be a lot of music kind of in this vibe that was really popular in like kind of the later 2000s in sort of the indie scene. To the point where you hear this type of music at bars and stuff. I kind of miss that. Hey, they wrote a song about me. Trenches. I love the reverb and the guitar effects. Very much capturing that kind of abyssal atmosphere. If I'm thinking about being like deep underwater, seeing these weird, unearthly looking creatures, nails it. Very cool. Astromelia with Abyssal. Then we have Telesterion, there we go, I think, with, oh god, another tough one. Epoptia? Something like that? I begin to sing of Demeter. Or Demeter, I forget how you pronounce her name. This is out of... doesn't say where it's out of. All this imagery definitely conjures a lot of ancient Greece. And I'm pretty sure, so lots of different tags here. Demeter's that's the Greek name, not the, yeah, because the Roman names used all the planetary stuff, right? Am I remembering that right? I used to be so into all that. That's where my name came from. People think I got Flight of Icarus from Iron Maiden, but the reality is I fell in love with the story of Icarus when I was probably in grade school reading mythology. And that's where it comes from, originally. I didn't even hear the Iron Maiden song until long after I had kind of come up with that moniker. Another one with really cool atmosphere. All these with really unique atmosphere, too. Watch YouTube give me limited ads because there's like half of a butt on here. I swear to God. Shit is out of hand. Usually they're pretty good about like Renaissance art and stuff like that. Even sometimes album covers, but my Cannibal Corpse video definitely got hit. Which is weird because the original one didn't, but maybe I said more song names out loud or something, I don't know. Yeah, again, you know, not my go-to style of music, but respect where it's due. Like, I'm not enjoying this. It seems very well produced and constructed. It's just got this feel that a lot of work went into it. I like all the layering. Oh, we got a little boob sticking out too. Nope, gotta go. Yeah, this sounds really cool. More stuff I could see myself kind of jamming in the background while I'm trying to get work done, thinking, yeah, that is Telesterion with Epoptia. Alright, next up we have The Grief with Crucible. This is out of Ireland. Cork, Ireland, to be exact. We're going in a more doom direction. Oh, I like that synth line. It's kind of like video game soundtrack, epic synth line. Or is that a synth even? Is that a guitar with just like an effect on it? It's kind of neat. Yeah, and then this is the doom vocal that I'm not as big a fan of personally. Ooh. You got pipes though. I like that interplay of the synth or guitar effect or whatever that is with the vocals. And again, just personal preference. Like, his voice sounds good. Objectively, it's just not a style I'm usually a fan of. I do like this cover too. Yeah, I really like the overall sound, and the production is really strong. Yeah, I haven't heard that exact effect. Like, I've heard plenty of stuff in that realm, but they've kind of nailed like a very sort of specific tone. And I talk a lot about carving out your niche, having that piece that's like memorable, and that might be part of it for them. This part in a weird way reminds me of the first Perfect Circle album. I like that bass tone too. Yeah, you know, this might be one of those Doom projects that wins me over, honestly. I think these harsh vocals could use a little bit more finesse. Yeah, there's room for improvement with the vocals in terms of how they're ultimately composed and put together, but there's a lot to like here. Sounds really cool. Ooh, big, and you hit those high notes, man. Kind of gives me a little goosebump effect. I like that. Yeah, that is The Grief with Crucible. Then we have Die Entweihung with Strict Regime Country. Sort of Israel. I like the painted effect of this cover. Kind of bluesy one-man dark metal project. Description. Right there. Is it instrumental or... Doesn't say. Let's see if the vocals come in. Solid guitar work. Proggier than I expected. I expected like straight black metal. Okay, cool. Guitar work sort of taking you on a little trip. Yeah, another good example of, I'm guessing this is all instrumental. Oh no, there's the vocals, okay. There we go. That's kind of fun. Kind of black and rolly. It's interesting. Going somewhere unexpected with the vocals there, too. Yeah, this one's, like, not as polished as some of the other projects, but it's got a unique edge to it, too. Which, in some cases, I think is more important. I like the vocals, too. They kind of remind me of Detrital from Enslaved. She's got that kind of like phlegmy, wretched sound. Cool little jazzy part here. Yeah, there's a little bit of a experimental quality to this that I appreciate. I'm still kind of deciding like how much I like it, but again, this is something I could see myself remembering later because it's the weirder stuff that makes an impact on me generally. And again, the guitar work's really solid. Like the lead guitars alone kind of take you on a journey. Got a cool synth effect here too. Kind of a regional sound of that part. Yeah, very unique. Interesting. Yeah, that is Die Entweihung with Strict Regime Country. Alright, then we have Madame Frankenstein with Doom. And the first song's called The Sun. And I have it on pretty good authority that they are just sun. You don't pronounce the O. The O is silent. The O is the sun, I believe. So this project's out of Brazil. Cool cover. Funny, I just did a thumbnail with a similar kind of background. I don't think that video will have come out yet, though, by the time this one does. I think that's a little bit later. I have so many videos to work on, y'all. End of November, December is going to be insane. I'm like wondering if I'm even going to be able to get it all done. But anyways, yeah, more Doom here, obviously. Very classic, kind of Black Sabbath-y sounding Doom, too, at that. Very fitting to the cover. Bit of psychedelic vibe. A bit of, like, Monolord in there, too. Funky riffs. It's pretty infectious. Yeah, not a style I listen to a ton, but I could see myself vibing to this or doing some work with this in the background. Very good kind of chill out decompress, focus in kind of music. Production's pretty decent. Could probably mess with it a little bit, make it a little bit more three-dimensional, but I like the riffs. Yeah, it's a vibe. I think doom metal fans are really going to enjoy this. And I like the band name, too. Madame Frankenstein. There's just something about it. Perfect for October, too. Yet more kind of spooky season music in a way. But yeah, that is Madame Frankenstein with Doom. Then we have Martherium with Through the Spheres of Darkness. Out of Spain. Another cool cover. Lots of more painted covers today. Black and death metal, black metal, some kind of shamashi vibes. That very dramatic kind of black metal. A little bit of Sulphur Aeon too, who just dropped their new stuff. Maybe a little Svart Crown. I dig. Also, always appreciate that aesthetic matching of the Bandcamp color scheme and even some of the artwork in the background. Those little pushes, they can amount to a lot sometimes. Yeah, I really like this. This is definitely the type of black metal I tend to enjoy more. I like this logo too. Yeah, very big, full, little bit of doom in there, but still keeping things pushing along. Yo, there's just so much music coming out. And a lot of times the best of Bandcamp stuff lately, like, could have made the best of the month list. It's just, I just don't have the time. Yeah, that sounds really great. No feedback on this one. Awesome. Martherium, Through the Spheres of Darkness. Alright, then we have Zvilpogua with Zvilpogua, if I'm pronouncing that even close to correct. Out of Ohio. Cover reminds me of like Frog Lord. Oh boy, another weird one. We're in for it here. It's like Nintendo grind. Oh god, with some like bass nectar kind of a dubsteppy vibes. Noisecore, aberrant death metal. Interesting. I really do like this cover. But I think Froglord's gonna be jealous because it's like, damn, I should have thought of that. But yeah, it was the oldest going off to school as I record this at 8 in the morning. No, again, another unique project. It is very kind of like more classic dubsteppy kind of vibes. Oh. And then some D-beat in here. I don't know if that's a guitar or what that is. It's like industrial... I don't know what to call it. It's crazy. Guitarly squamous fecundity. This is, I feel like this is breaking my brain. This is like an LSD, like a bad LSD trip. Well, if you want something truly unique, this is the album for you, clearly. So yeah, that is Svilpogua with Svilpogua. Then we have Asparn with Mesothelic Funerary Force. Out of Switzerland. Another cool cover in a totally different style. Lots of cool artwork today. Another one of those albums too with that very sort of buried production sounds, but that can sometimes serve. I feel like I hear a lot of kind of dungeon synthy albums in that style. The guitar tone here is crazy. Like, it's like so messed with and compressed that it like barely even sounds like a guitar anymore. I like the atmosphere. Very spooky. Yeah, I mean, is that just straight up MIDI? Because regardless, that's what it sounds like now. It's just like MIDI. It's like MIDI black metal. And very buried vocals. I think this is a good example, though, again, of like how to use this style to your benefits, and like when you really finesse it, and like bad production should not be lazy production, if that makes sense. Like, even if you're going for a more raw sound, there should be some thinking behind it, I think, anyways. Some people might disagree, but like, to me, this is a good example of what feels like very purposeful use of weird raw production. And I think the effect speaks for itself. Very interesting. So yeah, that is Asparn with Mesothelic Funerary Force. Then we have Third Island with Burning out of Limerick, Ireland. Interesting cover. What is even going on there? Is there like a figure here? I'm trying to even like make out what that is. Yeah, more Doom, but more interesting Doom. Some pretty interesting Doom. Post-metal and sludge also in the tags. Interesting vocal approach here. Got these almost like chanted, hypnotic vocals. Big sludgy grooves. Cool little break with the floor tom here. This is more of that kind of like, I call it like seafarer metal, where it feels like it's a soundtrack to a ship lurching around on a stormy sea. I like that little guitar kind of fill there, that's cool. Great use of bass. Again, solid production. I do like these like gradually building intros. Start with the bass, build the guitars on top of that. For some reason it strikes me as a very like 90s approach, even though obviously that's existed long before that. But I think particularly this, it's got kind of a quicksand vibe to it, this one. I could totally imagine hearing this on like Manic Compression or something. It's kind of nihilistic sounding vocals too. This guitar riff specifically though also reminds me of another song out of the 90s from like alternative music. I can't think of who it is. Yeah, I like that. That speaks to me a lot of my particular sentiments. Yeah, it's funny. That first track was very kind of post-metal sludge, but I feel like these other ones take a lot more influence from like 90s alternative music. Good mix of styles here. Yeah, a lot of good on you, Doom guys, this week. Really throwing me some curveballs that are making me think. Instead of just saying, oh, it's Doom, sounds good, next. Yeah, very cool. I wish I was not so buried in music, though. It's a blessing and a curse, because, like, I hear so much amazing stuff, and I get to hear so much of it early, but it's like, there's so much that I rarely get to, like, fully enjoy it. So I hope you all get to enjoy some of these things as a result, because that's what it's all about. Getting it all out to you, and hopefully you all sharing it around, too. But that is Third Island with Burning. Then we have Kaluber with Evil Exists, also out of Spain. Lots of little, like, 4-song EPs here, too. What's in the tags here? Black metal. Another interesting production choice on this one. So, Snake. This one's a little bit more muddled, I would say, in the mix, but not horribly so. I can still pick out pretty much everything going on. Was that like a vocoder effect? I'm still trying to like get used to being able to actually name specific effects and styles and everything. I kind of learn as I go. I'm by no means like a production whiz or in the know about like I'm as far as like drums and guitar goes, I'm self-taught, so all of the nomenclature is a lot of it's lost on me, but I've gotten better at it, I think. But yeah, he asked me like, what key is this in, or what chords are they using, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, if I can see their fingers, I might be able to figure it out. Anyways, like the bass on this one too. Another good like atmosphere building use of a more and completely different kind of production style. This one almost has kind of like a industrial, kind of skinny puppy vibe to the production, even though it's not industrial, it's black metal. But it makes for kind of an interesting ultimate effect here. The guitars almost remind me of like The Cure. Yeah, to me, like that's the vibe I think on this one, is sort of like if The Cure went black metal, which is kind of neat. I like that idea. I mean, they have some stuff like pornography, like almost may as well be a black metal track, I feel like. We got some ambience on the outro. Very cool. Y'all really giving me some stuff to think about. That is Kaluber with Evil Exists. Alright, y'all, I think that is plenty for this month, and man, the year is almost over. It's crazy, but we have, what month is this? It's October? So we've got 2 more of these left in the year, and I'm just so amazed at the talent y'all throw my way, whether it's your own music or somebody from the audience recommending something. But continue to do so. Support me on Patreon if you can. That's an awesome extra step, but mainly just support these bands. Buy their music. If you can't, spread the word to other people who maybe can buy it, and I will see you in the trenches.